Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Wounding Reforged. On Thursday, the 1.6.0 update to Dauntless brings us a revamp of the wounding system, as well as the main weapon you wound with, the Pike. So we're going to go through all of these changes. If you enjoy Dauntless and are not subscribed already, consider subscribing to the channel. Here I post Dauntless content every week. And when the 1.6.0 update drops, I will be on my Twitch checking it out, twitch.tv/TheMrTrails, possibly doing some trials as well. And if you're considering making any in-game purchases, when the update comes out, consider using code TheMrTrails. Make sure the A is before the I. Let's begin with the wounding system itself, so we might be able to better understand how the changes to the Pike fit with it. When you wound a part, that part will now remain wounded for a fixed amount of time, only 15 seconds, as opposed to the old system, where a part would remain wounded until it was broken. When you get a wound, the UI pops up wounded text, as well as the amount of Aether that leaks out of wounded parts being much more noticeable. Part damage and wound damage are now completely separate from one another. When you hit a wounded part, you will no longer deal any additional part damage to it. And if you break a part while it is wounded, the part will remain wounded. When a wound occurs, the player who initiated the wound will get a new buff called the Aether Rush state. While in Aether Rush, players gain 15% damage, 15% attack speed, 15% movement speed, and 15% stamina regeneration for 20 seconds. Dealing 1500 damage to wounded parts will also trigger the Aether Rush state, meaning the full squad will be able to utilize this feature. It doesn't have to be 1500 damage to the same part, so if there are multiple wounds available, you can split the damage between them and still enter the Aether Rush state. And if you were to trigger the Aether Rush state again while you already had it active, the duration of it gets refreshed. Once a part's wounded duration has finished, you are no longer able to wound that same part. So to summarize, instead of wounds only really being useful for increasing part damage or core damage when using the Savagery cell, wounds by themselves not only increase core damage, but they increase attack speed, movement speed, and stamina regeneration, and it's something that all players, even those on the team who aren't building for wounding, can take advantage of. This looks to make wounding a bit of a faster paced mechanic, rather than what I would describe it as previously, a slow and methodical way. Now, let's talk about the Pike. Firstly, the piercing attack type, specific to the Pike's light attacks and the Reckless Leap special, now deals 100% of core damage as part damage and 133% of core damage as wound damage. The change here is to the part damage, with the piercing attacks having dealt 75% of core damage as part damage previously. Each of the combo attacks from the Pike have had their base damage retuned as well, all of the attacks aside from the piercing flurry finisher getting a base damage increase. Now when you're using the piercing flurry, being when you hold down light attack, you will no longer consume stamina, and the Pike now has its own unique dodge animation. It travels farther than the regular dodge, and this will now be able to be used for some on-island parkour, being able to jump over some small gaps with it. One of the mostly unused attacks on the Pike, the Pike Charge, has received some nice quality of life changes that will probably make you use it now. Using the Pike Charge will now interrupt behemoths, as well as getting a base damage increase. This actually seems to be perhaps the most straightforward way to interrupt behemoths now. Just sprint and hold down light attack on the Pike and you have a decently safe interrupting method. Now let's talk about the changes to the special meter of the Pike. The piercing attacks of the Pike will now fill 2% of the special meter with each hit, and the harvesting attacks will now fill 7% of the meter for each hit. One of the main issues that the Pike faced previously was that the special meter depleted if you took any damage, which now doesn't happen in the updated version. The special meter also now has a slower decay in general. And another issue with how the special meter worked previously is that if you wanted to use your special, you'd be sacrificing a large damage boost, but now the special meter doesn't have this damage boost and is instead built into the wounding mechanic itself. And the special meter now has set levels of quality for the ammo. Storing ammo between 10 and 33% of the meter is stage 1. Between 33% and 66% is stage 2. Between 66% and 90% is stage 3. And storing ammo at 90% 50% or more of the meter will be Stage 4. Stage 1 ammo will give 10% of the maximum effect of the special. Stage 2 ammo will give 33% of the maximum effect of the special. Stage 3 ammo will give 66% of the effect. And Stage 4 ammo will give 100% of the special's effect. And all of the specials have received a bit of retuning. Concussive Payload will now have a max base damage of 1200, and the animation time to fire it has been greatly reduced. Reckless Leap now has a max base damage of 1500 when used at long distances and with Stage 4 ammo. And Savage Wellspring now has a set duration of 10 seconds, and instead of the duration being affected by ammo quality, it will instead affect the critical strike chance. So a Stage 1 ammo of Savage Wellspring will grant only 3% crit chance, but a Stage 4 ammo of Savage Wellspring will grant 30% crit chance. Now onto the weapon mods for the Warpike. The Lightweight Shaft and Barbed Spearhead mods are remaining unchanged. The Executioner Spearhead mod will now have a duration to the damage boost that each wound provides. In theory, you'll still be able to get up to that 60% damage bonus, but each stack of Executioner Spearhead will now only last for 120 seconds. The Munitions Amplifier mod will now not only increase ammo quality over time, but it will also increase the maximum quality bonus of the ammo by 25%. Meaning, for Savage Wellspring for instance, a Stage 4 ammo will now increase critical chance of the effective players by 37.5%. And when you use Munitions Amplifier with Reckless Leap, that now makes Reckless Leap have the third highest base damage potential in the game. And the Balanced Spearhead mod will increase your damage by 5% each time attacks are alternated between harvesting and piercing attacks, and once you've alternated attacks 5 times, you'll gain a separate damage buff of 25% for 8 seconds. The 5 stacks of Balanced Spearhead reset once the combo ends, but the extra 25% damage bonus will still apply. But what this means is that there's a chance that Balanced Spearhead shows itself to be the new best mod for general hunting, as you'd be able to get this damage bonus of up to 50% much faster than you'd be able to with Executioner's Spearhead, and it would be more constant. However, the downside to alternating attacks is you're likely to not get as many wounds, since you'd be taking away a decent amount of piercing attacks from your combos. But I believe with the Pike rework, we'll see a few different playstyles of the Pike come out. One playstyle is going to be one that runs Executioner's Spearhead, perhaps with the Pangar Pike just using piercing attacks for DPS and mostly ignoring the use of the special still. Another that will use Balanced Spearhead for the high upfront damage bonus it provides, as well as the large number of harvesting attacks used being good for storing special meter uses. And another that won't necessarily care about the combos or order of attacks used beyond making sure they are using their special at maxed quality with Munitions Amplifier. And I believe it's this last one that will be important for the use of squad savagery trials. But let me know what you guys think about the Pike rework. Personally, while I think there are some negative sides to the rework, my overall thoughts is that this is overwhelmingly positive for the state of the Pike. And I believe the majority of Pike mains will find the Wound rework and the Pike rework to be better than it was previously, and some players might be drawn to Pike for the first time, as it seems a bit more straightforward to play now in my opinion. And that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed and are hyped for the new Pike in 1.6.0, consider leaving a like. And if you enjoy Dauntless and are not subscribed already, consider subscribing to the channel. Here I post Dauntless content every week. And to stay up to date with my content both here on YouTube and on Twitch in the best way, as well as to keep up with any potential giveaways I'll be doing, join the Discord server in the description. I manually make a post whenever I do anything content or giveaway related. I have been Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, and I will catch you guys next time.